What's going on? What's going on? What's up? What's up? What's up? This is your brother Chief Kalanago Flying Eagle. What's up? All right, let me give you guys some time to chime into this live, man.
What's going on? What's going
All right,
on? What's up?
audio is good on Facebook. I'm gonna do a part two here. All right, so I'm just gonna give you guys some time to chime in. All right, I was in the park, getting ready to do a little workout, but the rain came down, so I was like, "Geez, can't do anything." So I was like, "Why not just come back?" All right, so I'm gonna do a part two here. All right, give me 1 second. Let me just close this window to kill some of this noise. All right, give me 1 second. Ooh, jeez. All right, what's going on, lineage? What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? Greetings, everyone. Greetings, everyone. Where everybody at? I mean, it's after 6. People should be off of work right now. Like I'm the only one on this live. What's going on? What's popping? What's up? What's up? What's going on, everybody? All right, I'm gonna give you guys a little, a little time to get on here. So, like I said, I did a video earlier breaking down what employee and employers mean, right? But a couple of people made some comments, trying to get some more clarification, specifically in regards to going to their job and updating their W-2 form. You know what I'm saying? So, with that being said, you could look at not the W-2, the W-4. You could look at the 2020 W-4 and read it in its entirety. So it's literally one page, but they have the instructions and they also have information as to who is exempt. So when you read the exemption part of it, then you could basically see there's two criterias that they're given on the form, for you to claim an exemption. And if I'm not mistaken, it's pretty much saying that if you have a tax liability, for the previous year or the current year, then you're not exempt. So basically, if you owe money, then you're not exempt. You know what I'm saying? And they have another criteria, which kind of still leads back to if you have a tax liability. All right. So again, based on reading, within a standing, there is no law saying that people are, it's people have, it's mandatory for people to pay taxes, but once again, I'm not a tax attorney. All right. I'm not giving tax advice. I'm not giving legal advice. I'm just dropping the information. And of course, you do your own due diligence, but everything is about the wording. Okay. Remember this again, it's always legalese, right? So just to reiterate, legalese sound like English, but it's not English. Okay. Those words mean different things in the legal realm. All right. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go back and just kind of like browse through what legal, not legal, but employee and employer, what it means real quick, and then we're gonna move forward. Okay, so let's just go here and go over that real quick. Okay, let me just share my screen. I'm not gonna wait for a whole lot of people who missed this video. If you missed the live, then you could definitely catch the recording. All right, so boom. Let us go check that again real quick. All right, so here we go. And please do your own due diligence, do your own research, okay? And you will basically see where they're kind of like leading you back to the same source, which is calling you an employee. All right. But based on what employee means, that is your grounds. Okay. That is your grounds of, again, claiming your tax exempt because you're not an employee. All right. No matter how you look at it, it takes you back to being an employee. First, the burden of proof is on the people that want you to perform. You feel what I'm saying? And just know that nobody could force you to perform to any contract, especially a unilateral contract. Okay. The W-4 form is an offer that they're making. Okay. They're giving you an offer and it's a contract. All right. They want you to put your wet ink on, and any contract, okay, or instrument that anybody wants you to sign, you feel me? You have a right to make sure that that contract benefits you. If it doesn't benefit you, you have a right to either amend the contract or not be a party of the contract. So you have to know these things, okay, for all this to make sense. So please take down this code. And once again, please do your own research, right? Title 49 USC Section 31301. That's Title 49 US Code Section 31301. Definitions, okay? That's not my definitions, that's their definition. So we're going to go all the way down to employee and employer. All right, so let us go down. Boom, boom, boom. We're going to go to 7. 7, employee. Employee means an operator of a commercial motor vehicle, including an independent contractor when operating a commercial motor vehicle who is employed by an employer. So boom, they're telling you what an employee is. So once again, to reiterate, if you are not working for a company, all right, where you are driving a commercial motor vehicle, you are not an employee. Bottom line, okay? So I am giving you, again, I'm giving you the answer without spelling it out. Because once again, this is not tax advice. If you want tax advice, consult an attorney. I'm not one. All right, but I'm giving you the answer though that you're looking for. All you got to do is read between the lines. Okay, I ain't got to spell it out for y'all. Okay, use your discretion. All right, let's read this again. Employee. All right, employee, and that is Title 49, Section 31301. Employee means an operator of a commercial motor vehicle, including an independent contractor when operating a motor vehicle who is employed by an employer. So now the question remains, you have to ask yourself, am I an employee based on their own definition? Okay. And if you're not driving a commercial, operating a commercial motor vehicle, then guess what? You are not an employee. Now, let us confirm that by looking at the definition of employer. Employer, okay, means a person, including the United States, because the United States is considered a person because it's a legal entity, a state, also a legal person, or a political subdivision of a state, which is also a legal person that owns or leases a commercial motor vehicle or assigns employees. An employee, once again, is one who drives a commercial vehicle to operate commercial vehicles. So if your boss, okay, does not own or lease commercial motor vehicles, then you are not an employee. Now, once that's established, that is your answer right here. I hope you are listening. And in fact, I hope you're hearing me and I hope you're listening. Read between the lines, put 2 and 2 together. All right, boom. You got that. Okay, let us go to the next joint. Okay, let me go to the next one and share the next screen. And all that stuff is in the link in the description, so you're able to do your own due diligence. Right now, give me 1 second. Let me go and share this again. Now, the last video that I did, which was part 1, somebody asked, well, what can I do? Because I want to go to my job and adjust my W-4 ASAP, right? And my answer was that there is no term to really use, pretty much that I know of. I would say a worker opposed to an employee. Now, I am correct when I say worker, because a worker is not an employee. However, when we go to, let's see how they trick people. When we go to, when we go to Title 8, U.S. Code, Section, let me just back up here for a second so I could get it for y'all. All right, give me 1 second. I want to make sure I have this properly, right? Boom. There we are. Here we go. Title 8, U.S. Code, Section 1182. All right. Let us go down and look at the term what United States worker means. A United States worker, not a worker. You see, there's a difference. A worker is different from a United States worker. All right. So once you see it's specific. They don't have a meaning for worker but they have a meaning for the United States worker. So let us go to Title U.S. Code Section 1182 T 4. Boom. Let's click on that. Okay. What does it say here? We go all the way down to D. Okay. It says the term United States worker means an employee. You see what it brings you back to employee, but who's an employee? An employee is someone who operates a commercial vehicle. They work for an employer that owns or lease commercial vehicles. So as you could see, it brings you back to employee. That's the key word, employee. I hope this is making sense because I'm breaking this down as clear as day so that a child could comprehend this. All right. So you are a worker, but you are not a United States worker. You feel what I'm saying? So I'm giving you the answers. If you're paying attention, okay, I am giving you the answer. I'm going to repeat that. What does a United States worker mean? Because they're not giving you the meaning of a worker, because they cannot give you the meaning of a worker because, you know, that would mess up their game. So they call it a United States worker. All right. A United States worker. Boom. D. The term United States worker means an employee who is a citizen or a national of the United States. Okay. 2 is an alien who is lawfully admitted to or for permanent residence in is admitted as a refuge under section blah blah blah. That's irrelevant. The bottom line is this: the United States worker means an employee. All right. So that's the bottom line. Now, once again, you have to ask yourself: are you an employee based on the meaning they have for employee? Okay. So you make that determination. Let's go to the next one. Boom. Okay. Now, seeing that what they give you is an offer that they're making, all right, and you have a right to read the contract because it's a contract, right? Because you are signing that on the penalty of perjury, right? So with that being said, and I'm not giving legal advice, I'm just sharing information. For me, when I'm signing any document, right, and I do not wish to lose or waiver any of my rights, I sign without prejudice. Okay, so pretty much, if it were me, I would sign that document with, without prejudice. Now, if I had a job, meaning that I was considered to be an employee, I would go to my boss and I would say, hey, boss, go to human resources. I would like to update my W. There are some changes, in my in my financial situation, whatever the case may be. I would like to update my W-4. All right. I would like to update that. You did. Now, make sure you read the information, download the form, look and read at the section that talks about exemption. And if you put 2 and 2 together, they are giving you the answer right in there. However, if you're not quite clear on that, then the safest route is to sign your name without prejudice. You know what I'm saying? So you could pretty much control the narrative, meaning that, you're signing this document, this contract, okay, this instrument without any loss or waiver of your rights or your privileges, right? So without prejudice is one of them, okay? Let us stop that. Boom. All right. Let's go to the next one. Without recourse. Okay, I'm giving you information so that you're able to protect yourself, right? Here we go. Without recourse. And all that information is in the description below, right? Without recourse. A phrase meaning that one party has no legal claim against the other party. It is often used in 2 contexts, right? Oh, come on, man. Hold up for a second. All right, here we go. 1, in litigation, someone without recourse against another party cannot sue that party, or at least cannot obtain adequate relief, even if a lawsuit moves forward. Someone completely without recourse cannot sue anyone for an alleged injury, or else cannot obtain any relief, even if lawsuits are filed. All right, so without recourse basically removes the liability. Okay, number 2, in a financial transaction, the words without recourse disclaim any liability to the subsequent holder or a or a financial instrument. Now, we're not dealing here with let me see if this any liability subscription holder or financial instrument. We're not talking about now they're giving an example, thus endorsing a check, et cetera, et cetera. We're not going to talk about that. Let's look at the word a financial instrument. What's a financial instrument? We're going to look at that, right, and see if a W-4 is considered a financial instrument. So let us go to the next one. All right. So without recourse basically means that you're removing the liability. All right. That's what it means. So let us go look at financial instrument. What does it mean? Boom. Let us go here. Financial instrument. Here we go. Financial instrument. Let this thing populate. I'm giving you the answer, okay, the solution. All right. A financial instrument is an instrument that has monetary value or records a monetary transaction or any contract that imposes on one party a financial liability and represents to the other a financial asset or equity instrument. Now, I'm going to ask you a question. Is the W-4 considered a financial instrument? Let's read this again. Based on what I'm reading, you should know the answer. All right, let us read this again. I'm going to read it a little bit slower. Okay. A financial instrument is an instrument that has monetary value. Okay. The W-4, does it have monetary value? Maybe yes, maybe no. Let's say it doesn't, right? Let us read the next part of it. Or records a monetary transaction, or the third part, any contract that imposes on one party a financial liability. Now, let me ask you a question. If the W-4 is to make sure that money is taken away from you, is that or isn't that a financial liability? Yes, indeed it is. So therefore, a W-4 form is a financial instrument. You see what I'm saying? So therefore, you can sign without prejudice, without recourse, and your name. You could do that. So you are taking away the liability, okay? And also you are reserving your rights and your privileges. Okay? So once again, if it were me, I would go to my boss and say, hey, there are some changes in my financial situation. I would like to update my W-4. Okay? And then you take it from there. All right. Let me go ahead and stop that real quick. And let us go look at another one. Let me see. Give me 1 second. Okay. All right. Let us go look at this real quick. All right. So boom. Let me go look at just to confirm this for y'all. Let us go look at. Let me go ahead and share my screen. Okay, let us go look at 1-308. What does it say? 1-308. Okay, let this thing populate. I'm showing you so many ways to protect yourself in contracts. Okay, so you are not liable because a lot of times, if you're being forced to perform, which they cannot do that, okay, nobody could force a man or a woman to perform. That's number one. Okay, so with that being said, if they are forcing you to perform, then again, if it were me, I would assert all my rights because there's a maxim that says that, and if I'm quoting this correctly, any man who does not assert his or her rights have none. Well, they didn't say his or her, they said his. You know, they always leaving the women out, but you know, I always got to include the sisters. You feel me? So I'm saying he or her, right? If you don't assert your rights, it is as if you never had none, right? So let us look at what you can call it. It's right here. Let us look at this real quick. Okay. UCC 1-308, right? Boom. Performance or acceptance on the reservation of rights. A party that with explicit reservations of rights performs or promises to perform or assents to performance in a manner demanded or offered by another party does not therefore prejudice the rights reserved. Okay? Such words such as without prejudice, under protest, or the likes are sufficient. All right. So again, without prejudice, all right, or simply 1-308. Okay. It is really that simple. All right. So those are the ways you could protect yourself when you're signing any contract. And yes, the W-4 is a contract. And yes, the W-4 is a financial instrument. You feel what I'm saying? And yes, it is for only employees. Now, the question is again, are you an employee based on the definition that I gave you? Well, not that I gave you, that they gave us. Are you an employee? Because in their meaning, an employee is someone who drives a commercial motor vehicle. They work for an employer. And when you look at the meaning of employer, it says someone who owns or leases a fleet of motor vehicles for commercial reasons. So once again, if your boss does not have a fleet of commercial motor vehicles, then you are not an employee. So you are asking the question, well, Chief, what do I do with the W-2? How can I claim to be tax exempt? You are not an employee. And once again, this is not tax advice. I'm just giving you the information and I'm just teaching the information. And if it were me, that's what it would be, because now you have to put the burden of proof on your job and the people that's telling you that you're an employee to prove that you are. Because if your boss does not own or lease commercial motor vehicles, then you're not an employee. So once you sign, without prejudice, without recourse, 1-308, whether it's underneath or above your name, it doesn't matter. The point is you have reserved your rights. That's number one. Number two, no recourse, meaning that you cannot be held liable. Boom, you just protected yourself. You feel me? So I just gave you the answer. Okay, now let us go to the next joint, because the majority of us are American Indians, whether you want to say American Indians, American Aborigines, the original Americans, attacked on Americans. I mean, whatever term you want to use. Okay. Let us look at, because they have American Indian in the Constitution, for that sake, even if they're all misnomers, for that purpose, we are going to talk about whether American Indians are tax exempt or not, or who are the American Indians that are tax exempt. All right. Boom. Here we go. Let this populate. All right, cool. Are American Indians tax exempt? Federally recognized Indian tribal governments aren't subject to federal income tax, but they must pay employment tax on wages paid to employees. Now, again, I'm giving y'all the answer, right? Okay, so they want to put us in a situation where they make the decision as to who's recognized or not, when the truth of the matter is over 95% of us, if not more, we are American Indians, because we were the people that were here. We're not Africans, period. Bottom line, point blank. We ain't black, we ain't African Americans. We are indigenous to this land. I'm talking about the original indigenous people. That's a fact. All right. Now, the federal government, which is not a government, it is a corporation. Bear that in mind, it's a foreign corporation, but they call it a government. It's not. Okay, and that's facts. Okay, they make the determination who is a recognized Indian. Okay, so if they're saying that you are not part of the federal recognized tribes, whatever the case may be, that's their decision that they made. It still doesn't exempt us from being who we are. They cannot take away our birthright by claiming, that we are not federally recognized. Okay, because whether you're federally recognized or not, you are still an American Indian. All right. So with that being said, if they want to subject you to federal income tax because they say you're not federally recognized, then go back. You see, there is always a way out. They have to give you a way out. You see what I'm saying? They have to give you a way out. You just have to know the way out. The way out is here. Boom. It says, let's read this again. You have to read with understanding. That's why I tell people, when you read with understanding, lineage. Read with understanding. Okay? Let's read this again. American Indians tax exempt. Federally recognized Indian tribal governments aren't subject to federal income tax. All right? They are not. However, there is a conjunction, but, okay, but, which means that it's also an exception. So with the exception, they must pay, and must meaning that they are obligated to pay employment tax on wages paid to employees. So now, if they are considered to be employees, go back to the word employees. So anytime you call yourself an employee, then yes, you're not tax exempt. But if you're not an employee, then you are. And you could prove it. Yes, you can. Because guess what? Chief Kalanago just gave you the meaning of employee and employer. Boom. There goes your answer. Let them put the burden of proof on them to prove that you are an employee. My brothers and sisters, the answers is right in our faces, man. It's right in your face. It's right in your face. So if it were me, once again, if it were me, all right, that is a contract. I would go through the contract, and any word they have, anywhere they have employee, I would cross that out and initial it. Once again, it's a contract that you are giving me. I am not an employee. You feel me? Now, you may ask, well, Chief, what am I? Well, again, a worker. But then they might say United States worker. So you see, they might try to trick you into that, but they don't have a meaning for worker. However, they have a meaning for United States worker. Okay? So you kind of have to work on that. Now, if everybody got that knowledge and they would go to their job and say, hey, listen, I'm trading my time and this is what you're giving me as compensation, then I'm cool with that. You just have to be able to articulate yourself. But it's because so many people are scared, so many people are not willing to step up and hold these people accountable, then they make it hard for the people who have the knowledge or who are willing to apply the knowledge. All right. But I just gave you the answer. All right. So I hope that makes sense. Boom. So, all right. So with all due respect, I'm going to say this, right? Do your due diligence, my brothers and sisters. Okay. Don't just take my word for it. Yes, I'm showing you the information, but go ahead and get into the information. You might see something that I missed. All right. You don't know. You did. So all I'm just saying is do your due diligence, but I'm giving you the answers right here. It all boils down to what? Don't matter what it is. Even if they say, oh, well, yeah, you may be American Indian, but you're not federally recognized. Well, look at the word employee. Go ahead and prove that that prove to me that I am an employee. Put the burden of proof on them. You see what I'm saying? So if they were to challenge that, if I were in that situation, I would do a notice. Okay. I would do a notice, which is a conditional acceptance, meaning that I am not denying you say that I owe this. All right. But however, I am conditionally accepting this, provided that you are able to, one, prove that I am an employee, and that they cannot prove, because guess what? Your boss doesn't own any motor vehicles that he used for commercial purposes. You see what I'm saying? So you have to make sure that your boss doesn't have any commercial vehicles that he's using, or you are, okay? You are driving any commercial vehicle for your boss. You see what I'm saying? So always keep that in mind. Now, let me go back here again real quick. Give me 1 second. Boom, boom, boom. I want to go back here real quick. Give me 1 second, please. Because I want to make sure we cover that thoroughly so we're able to cover all bases. You feel me? All right, boom. Let us go ahead and put that in here. And let's go back here again. Because we have to literally make sure you get the proper understanding of that. Okay. All right. So check this out. I'm going to share this one more time so that you don't get confused. Okay. Let us go back to Title 49, U.S. Code, Section 31301. So check this out. Here we go. Because some people, and I'm actually asking myself the question as if I were you, just in case you might get confused. You might say, "Well, Chief, yeah, yeah, but my boss probably own a commercial motor vehicle. So even if he does, so what? Once again, let us read the code. Who is an employee? Let us read this one more time. An employee means an operator of a commercial vehicle. So unless you are not the operator of that vehicle, guess what? You are not an employee, even if your boss, your employer owns. Because let us look at employer means a person including the United States government, a state, or a political subdivision of a state that owns or leases commercial motor vehicles. So even if your boss is not leasing and they own commercial motor vehicles, it doesn't mean that you're an employee. Why? Because you are not the operator of one of them. So if you're working in the office, you're not an employee. But however, if you are an operator of a commercial motor vehicle, you are an employee. Another example, if you have a driver's license, okay, and you are driving, you are operating a commercial motor vehicle because you are driving. But if you are traveling, then you don't need a driver's license. But you have to know the laws and how to break that down. Okay, so with that being said, okay, don't get confused. So yes, your boss may own commercial motor vehicles, but if you are not the operator of any of those commercial vehicles, then guess what? You are not an employee. Boom. So there's your answer. I just wanted to cover all bases. Okay, no doubt, OG. I just wanted to make sure I clarify things because, like I tell people, when I teach, when I bring information, I want to make sure children could comprehend this stuff. You feel me? It's all about teaching a lesson, so that people are able to comprehend the information. So the key word is employee. All right. Now that you know what employee means, now you have grounds to stand on. So when you go to human resources and you make your amendments or your addendum on that form, okay, you could claim your exemption because you are not an employee. You see what I'm saying? And again, this is not tax advice. I'm just giving you the information. If it were me, that's what I would do. All right. But you might be scared, but no need to be scared because, again, it's right there. The codes are right there. They're not my codes. Those are their codes. And once again, for one, you are signing without prejudice, meaning that you're reserving your rights and privileges. Number two, without recourse, you're not liable. You feel what I'm saying? And you could also add 1-308 in this. So boom, you solid. Okay, you solid. And that's it. So you are not defrauding anybody. Okay, you are not claiming exempt to defraud the United States. That's not what you're doing, and that's not what I'm promoting. You feel me? But I'm giving you the solution so that you're not being taken advantage of. You feel me? It is really that simple. And once again, nobody could compel any contracts on you. The United States is a corporation and they deal with commercial laws. That's all what it's all about. Okay? That's what it's about. So the burden of proof is, do me a favor, please. Yes, you say I owe this, whatever the case may be. All right, you know what? I conditionally accept what you're saying, provided that boom, prove that I am an employee. Now, if you know you're driving a commercial vehicle that your company owns, then please, if you sign that stuff, then that's perjury because you're making a statement that's false. But if you are not operating a commercial vehicle for your employer, which is someone who owns a fleet of commercial motor vehicles for leasing, okay, or owning, then you're not an employee. All right. So for those who wanted the answer, boom, you got it. I hope that makes sense. If that makes sense, please do me a favor, type some sevens in the chat. If you have any questions at this time regarding just that topic, then post them in the chat. If I'm able to answer the question, I'll be more than willing to. If I can answer it, we'll do some research and we'll do part 3, because once again, I'm not aware of everything. All right, but whatever I know, I'm willing to teach. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. Beautiful. So this is not, again, I'm not teaching this with the intentions of teaching people to defraud the corporation. Now, that's not what I'm teaching. However, I'm teaching you how to assert your rights so that you're not being taken advantage of. Okay, because these bosses, they know this. All right, they know this. Okay, so even if they are saying, oh, well, you know what? You're not, yeah, you may be American Indian, but you're not federally recognized. All right, cool. Well, if you're taking that away from me, then go ahead and prove I have an employer. Okay, because you don't have an employer. The relationship between you and your boss, if there is no, if you're not the operator of a commercial motor vehicle, the relationship between you and your boss is just a working. So you have to be able to know how to talk to your boss. If everybody would just practice, man, and everybody would just apply the knowledge, I'm telling you, you feel me? And you know how to fill out these forms to reserve your rights. That's it, because they cannot call you an employee, force you to be that. All right, show me. Let's go in the parking lot. Show me these motor vehicles that I'm going to be operating. If it does not exist, I'm not an employee. So therefore, I'm claiming exempt. Boom. So that's why they always put these words in play, man. The legalese system. Okay, so they call your boss an employer and they call you an employee. It's trickery. It is trickery. That's what it is. Okay, it's a fraud. And you're being defrauded. And again, they're giving you all this information, applications. When you go fill out a job application, look at the application. If there's an employee on there, if I were you, I would cross that out. And if it were me, I would just put worker, because once again, a worker is a worker. Now, a United States worker is something different. Or you could find a term, whatever term you want to use. I'm just saying, if it were me, I would finesse those things, because you're giving me an application. Yes, I want the job, but if everybody would step up and do what they're supposed to, these people will have no choice but to perform to the demands of the people. It is really that simple. So I would just put a little line across. I ain't putting nothing. I would initial that, or whether it's employee, that's what I would do. Initial that, boom, and then I would sign reserve all my rights. That's it. It's really that simple. So when they go, well, why did you do that? Well, I'm not an employee. You know, I'm here to trade my time. Okay, I'm going to give you my time, and in return, you'll compensate me, you know, with Federal Reserve notes for such and such. It's really that simple. Boom. If everybody stood on those principles, guess what? They would be forced to what? Do what we want them to do, because that's the law. All right. All right, cool. So nobody have any questions? No doubt. You guys are absolutely welcome. So once again, I just wanted to do part 2 just to clarify some things and, you know, just dive a little deeper into that to let it make more sense. All right. So don't forget, the key word here is employee, because no matter how you look at it, all right, they don't give you a specific meaning for the word worker. They don't give you that. However, they will give you a United States worker. You did. All right. Sister Denise, part 1 is I did that earlier, so you could definitely check that out. All right, it's on Facebook or YouTube, so you could check that out. All right. So the key word is, and so no matter how you look at it, that keyword is employee. And as long as you grasp that concept of what that word means in their codes, then guess what? You got it. You got them. All right. You got them. It's really that simple. Cannot force you to can I compel you to perform? Because guess what? You are not an employee. Now, if you are, that's a whole different situation. But if you are not, they cannot force you. They cannot compel you to perform. All right. The most your job could do is fire you. And if they already give you, if you already have a job, and they want to fire you for doing that, then you could sue them because they're gonna have to prove that you're actually an employee. All right, prove to me, Mr. Boss Man, that I'm driving a commercial motor vehicle. Prove to me that I'm an operator for my job. If you cannot prove that, then you just fired me. What, discriminating against me because I'm asserting my rights? What? That's a lawsuit. That's a lawsuit. All right. And if any judge or prosecutor want to be biased, then you could hit them with the, the Title 142. You know what I'm saying? On the color of law. They conspiring together, okay, to literally commit fraud. So there's so many ways to protect yourself, man. So many ways. It's all about protecting yourself. That's what it's about. So if we teach our children these things, they don't have to go through the same cycle that we did. We got to change that. You know what I'm saying? No, I'm not against people paying their taxes, but I'm against you just taking mine when I'm the one busting my butt on the job and tricking me with these words because you feel I don't comprehend it. Because me personally, I don't understand. I overstand. I understand. I'm above these words. You feel me? Once you know the words, in the beginning was the word, and know that you were there in the beginning. The words came from you. So if you cannot comprehend these words that came from your thoughts, that came from your inner being, because it came from your consciousness, because you are God. You are the consciousness that became life. You feel me? So if you cannot comprehend the words that came from your thoughts, your consciousness, okay, then that's on you. That's on you. But you have to study to show thyself approved. You have to. Or else they're going to eat you alive, man. They're going to eat you alive. So I just give you the solution in a nutshell. It's not one simple answer. So I couldn't just say, well, put this or put that. However, I had to go ahead and break all these things down so you're able to know, well, okay, you know what? The bottom line is the word employee. So once I get that, that is my whole premise of me standing for my exemption, because I'm not an employee. You see what I'm saying? And that's your answer. That's your solution. You did. All right. So, hey, what's up? What's up, my brother? All right, so let me just go ahead and just, give you guys a quick little shout out, man. All right, take it from the top. Who we got here? All right, boom. We got the goddess, Empress Everlasting Water. Much respect, much respect. Just know that your brother, I'm working on some things. You already know. So I'm gonna link you and Chief. You dig? I got y'all. That's my peoples for real. That's my lineage right there. All right. Who else we got? All right, we got Prophet Levi Apps, Salute Warrior. All right, much respect, brethren. All right, showing love, you dig? We got the OG, much respect, OG. What up, what up, what up? All right, we got T Cortez, just showing everybody some love, man. I hope again you guys find some value in this information. All right, got my brother Little. What it is. I hope the children, the grandchildren are doing great. All right, got my sister Denise. Make sure y'all check her out, man. She's a great photographer, man, doing her thing. And she's positive, you know what I mean? So definitely, I'm feeling that energy. You feel me? All right, who else we got? We got Cosmic Woman. All right, much love, much respect. All right, so we here. Who else we got? That's it? All right, yeah. So everybody got some love. And anybody else who come and check this information later, I'm sending much love and positive energy to each and every one of y'all, all right? Thank you so much. Y'all have a great continuation. This is your brother, Chief Kalanago Flying Eagle. We'll talk soon. Take care.